Yeah. Good evening, all. Welcome to yet another session. Today we have Shirley with us. A brief introduction about Shirley. Currently based in Dehradun, Shirley Bhatnagar graduated from National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad, majoring in industrial ceramics. Since then, she has worked on many public and private commissions. Shirley has headed the Fire Material Application discipline at the Indian Institute of Crafts and Design, Jaipur. And currently, she is visiting faculty in several leading design colleges in India. She is now an associate professor of School of Design at UPES, Dehradun. Shirley has done projects focusing on the revival of traditional crafts. However, she works in ceramics, primarily exploring history and politics. Illustrations and humor are the foundations of her work. Over to you, Shirley.
Thank you, Kshitija, and thank you everyone for being here. So I will start right away. As you know, the topic of today's talk is decoding the iconography of Mother Goddess figurines. This is a very interesting topic for me, and I have been kind of looking at images and this subject for over now 12 years. Okay. So the first slide, and this, as you can see, it's called Ice Age figurines. If you read the notes at the bottom, it says Venus of Lesfuge, Ivory, 25,000 BCE. This is another figure made in limestone in Turkey, 5,000 to 8,000 years ago, 1,000 BCE, and the very famous Venus of Willendorf, also made of limestone. So, what are these Ice Age figurines? So, Mother Goddess figurines have continued from Ice Age to the advent of agriculture with changes in how they were made, while some things remain the same. And the ones that are from Ice Age are called Venus figurines. That's how archaeologists have termed them. So basically, Ice Age kind of ended about uh, 14,000 to 10,000 years ago. And so when we say Venus figurine is a term given to female sculptural depictions that are 40,000 to 10,000 years old, essentially belonging to Ice Age. These tiny figures are made in a variety of materials, and they share common characteristics with minor variations. Some of them are voluptuous bodies that exaggerate feminine features such as wide hips, prominent buttocks, and sagging breasts. Reproductive areas are clearly marked, and you can see that as well here. Facial features are sketchy, abstract, or they do not exist, which means that the focus is on the body, not on the face or not on a particular person. Hands and feet are minimal or absent, but many, if you look at them closely, show that the women are holding their heavy breasts, which suggests pregnancy. So, where does the term Venus come from? Venus is also the goddess of love and romance in Greek mythology. Okay. Now, this is a very small figurine, and it's the oldest female depiction ever found. It's supposed to be 45,000 years old, and it's found in a site in Germany, which is called the Graviton site. And it's really tiny. Like if you see on the slide, the widest is 3 centimeters, and this is made up of mammoth ivory, woolly mammoth. So this is like a carved ivory bone. And it's considered the oldest Paleolithic female figure. If you look at it closely, the figure has large protruding breasts and an enlarged vulva. Her legs are widely separated. Nicholas Conrad, whose team actually is credited to finding the Venus of Hallfels, wrote in his original description, there can be no doubt that depiction of oversized breasts, accentuated buttocks, results from deliberate exaggeration of the sexual features of the figurine. He even went on to hypothesize that the sculpture was erotic, and another archaeologist in his team called that the culture could have been sex obsessed. However, Today, researchers and scholars look at this figure very differently, and it's considered a somatosensory self portrait of a woman who has recently given birth, and the changes that a mother's body undergoes at birth are shown as acute discomfort, again, not meant for the male gaze. Okay. So it's no surprise we come to ceramics that the oldest terracotta sculpture considered is an image of a woman, and it's the very famous Venus of Dolny. The height is 4.4 inches, so again very tiny. You can see sagging breasts again, and you can see like a protruding stomach. There are no facial features, uh, and this is found in what is called present-day Czechoslovakia, and her features are typical of Ice Age. So, this is the only ceramic or terracotta sculpture that is from the Ice Age. Ice Age depictions of women are usually made in other materials: limestone, ivory, bone, and stone. But this is the only one, and it's supposed to be 30,000 years old. So, it's supposed to be made up of ash and terracotta reduction fire, as you can see. To slide 4. Okay, so Mehergarh, this is a site in Indus Valley. It is the oldest Indus Valley site, and it is all the way in Balochistan, like very, very west. And the so Mehergarh is dated to be 7,000 or 2,000, basically between 7,000 and 2,000 BCE. It is the west of the Indus River. Uh, so what we see here in this image are several seated female mother goddess figures with slender waists, ample hips and extended legs, and rounded voluptuous breasts. A broad collar with characteristically pierced circular eyes, a prominent beak like nose, no mouth, and a dramatic hairdo or headdress. Figurines like this are found throughout the region in many of the excavated sites. Apart from this usual feature that takes us back to Ice Age, here you can see in the side view uh, something which is very curious, like the look at the shape of the legs. This is not like anatomically correct, and this is not how even our human being would sit or fold their legs. I found this seated position something very different versus in all other representations of the female body. And many years ago, I had attended an ASI talk in Delhi where the archaeologist who was giving a talk pointed out that the way the figure is, it symbolizes the ancient plow, like the plow, if you look at it, and how the plow moves on the earth. So he says the legs are kind of basically there is a parallel between fertility of the mother and that of the land. And agriculture was a central part of life in Mehergarh. And the plow was an important tool in early farming communities. So it is possible that symbolic or abstract representations of agricultural life could be interpreted in various ways. Again, like here you can see in detail, like look at the way the legs are, folded in a very unusual way. And this detail is not in any of the other mother goddess figurines or supposed mother goddess figurines. If you look at the eyes are just holes, right? You see dark holes in this image as well, and as the other image. Also, if you want me to stop, or because I cannot see any comments, you can, I guess, let Kshitija know and I can pause on
Yeah,
the
sure.
lecture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm.
if you look at even in this image, the holes are like they're just it's just a hole. And what was told to me in the talk was that they would sometimes put like like earth or like a gypsum, something white, and they would put a seed for eyes. So basically, there was some sort of probably ceremony or ritual to make the idol come to life. So John Marshall. John Marshall is credited with terming with the term Indus Valley civilization. He's the archaeologist under whom the excavations took place. And these images are not very good, but it's the best that I could find when I was reading. And if you look very, very carefully, it's basically an upside down woman, and the bottom, the woman is like standing and with her legs apart. And what you see coming out is, instead of a child, it's a plant. And to quote John Marshall, it was difficult to resist. Then the Indus pieces represented mother or nature goddess, the terracotta and the additional evidence of a sealing. So this is a seal from Harappa depicting a woman giving birth to a plant is testimony to the cult of the mother goddess. So I found this very interesting. And also another point to be noted is that, which I don't have an image here, but you can look it up, that the first representation of a mother goddess in Chinese culture is actually a frog, and the position is the same. So basically, women gave birth often while standing up, not like the way it is today. Okay, so this is an image that I have taken from a book, and this book actually led me to think in various directions. It's by a guy called Stuart Pigott, written in 1952, just after partition and independence. And I'll just read out what he says. So it's called Kuli culture or Amri culture or Nar culture. This is even west of Meherkar, and it is not considered as part of Indus Valley. It is considered a culture. So the difference between culture and civilization is a culture is a smaller settlement, and civilization, as we all know, is like, you have small townships, you have like, characteristics that are overlapping. We all know Indus Valley, people talk about town planning, fantastic drainage, and so on and so on. But Kuldi cultures are basically smaller settlements. But interestingly, Kuldi culture, Nal culture, Amri culture, they're all contemporary to Indus Valley, which means they existed at the same time. Uh, so they exist around a river called Zob, Zhob. And as I'm researching more about the Zob River and what's found around it, a lot of the things that are found are actually very, very similar to what we have found in Indus Valley. So Kuli culture was a parallel culture settlement along other Indus Valley sites. The half figurines found here, as you can see, they're just the torso, you do not see the full figure, appear as if they are made rather quickly, just like their counterparts. Still, we can see a fair amount of detail in their hairdressing and ornaments. So many like these are found in Kuli, Nal, Amri sites. And he says, when you look at all these little sculptures, he can easily imagine what a young Kuli woman would have looked like at that time. So, to quote him again, her hair was piled up high with curls in front and heavy tresses resting on the nape of the neck, and ornamentation does not end here. The bangles on the arms are so beloved to Indian girls still today. So, isn't that interesting? Several arms and wrists are still shown with bangles. We seem to have come face to face with the women of Kuli folk, and I think I would recognize a Kuli girl in a foreign city. In common with Kuli culture of South Balochistan, a great number of clay and cattle figurines have been found. These all end below the waist, and the faces have eye holes, owl beak nose, and grim slit mouths. Here. The result is terrifying. And in one model found, all pretense is thrown away, and the face is a grinning skull. The heads can hardly be toys, but perhaps a guardian for the dead. So I was looking for this particular head that he's describing. I have not found it online in any image, but but this is the closest that I can find that these are not skulls. Still, these are still like very humanoid, but he's talking about a skull. The closest could be the image on the rightmost top. And the other interesting things that he talks about is a great number of clay cattle figurines have been found. So this is describing in another paragraph. He's saying that when we found these women representation, they are little figurines of cows, of tigers, of lions. And he's saying that he finds that this collection is very similar to like a Hindu altar today. When you look at like a puja space, uh, again, I'm not trying to this is controversial, because all this predates Hinduism. But that connection is what is so interesting for me. Okay. This slide I've just thrown in, this is also Mehergarh. Just look at these images little carefully. These images are from an auction house called Bird Square somewhere in Europe. It's again, you can see the hollow spaces. The first image, you can see like a bird, no, bird beak very, very clearly. You can see the jewelry. You can see the elaborate hairdo. So, and the same. Now, when we look at these images from Mehergar, let's travel another 2000 years later to another part of the world. Okay, Indus Valley again. Look at the details of the hairdo, look at the way the hands are, look at again. So these are actually all in present day Pakistan. Okay, so now if you look at Hittites, now Hittites is another civilization or culture which is today modern day Turkey. Just look at their faces carefully, and the image on the right, especially. And then you look at this and you look at these. And for me, the relationship is unmistakable, even though it's 2000 years old, 2000 years later. So this is again part of me looking at these artifacts. And Hittites or Hittites are basically, they're considered an Indo-European race. I was trying to find out, have they found connections genetically or otherwise, but I could not find. But basically, they're called Indo-Europeans because of language. Their language is kind of mix of Greek, Sanskrit, and other languages. So therefore, they're called Europeans, and they're a large part of Hittite civilization where there is no, where archaeologists and historians don't know what's going on. But for me, this kind of, like the the mother goddess, the making of the mother goddess, the depiction, the headdress, the beak nose, how it carries on to another part of the world is quite interesting. So that's what I wanted to point out. They're also wearing jewelry. There are also images from Indus Valley, Mehergarh, and other sites where a female is holding a child. And here you can see something very similar. And there are more images that kind of, I can see that overlap in depiction. Okay, let's travel to another part of the world. So Dogu. So Dogu literally means fired earth. And if you look at the image on the right side, there are many, many variations of this. Uh, Basically, it is estimated that Dogu, or these Japanese, these figures from Japan, they're close to 15,000 to 18,000. So they found 15,000 to 18,000 terracotta figurines. Now, when you look at the figure on the right, it's really so interesting, right? So people, when they look at it, they say, "Oh, did aliens visit Earth?" Like, or is it representing another life form? But there are many versions of the same, and basically, what they're saying is, I can read it out. Dogu are made of clay and they're very small, to quite large actually, typically 10 to 30 centimeters high, 30 centimeters actually more than 1 foot. Most of the figurines appear to be modeled as female. They have very big eyes, small waists, and wide hips. They're considered by many to be representative of goddesses. Many have large abdomens associated with pregnancy. Uh, and the Dogu tend to have large faces, small arms, and hands compared to compact bodies. Some appear to have to wear goggles that resemble Inuit sunglasses. So basically, they're saying that the Inuit culture, which is basically Eskimos living off snow, they used to wear these goggles to cut off the glare from the sun, which is just a slit. So it's just barely big enough for you to see, but the sun's glare does not affect your eyes. And it is also very interesting to note that Jomon period is actually started during Ice Age. So I found that connection very interesting. So resemble Inuit sunglasses for snow. Some of the faces are heart shaped. Most have marks on their faces, chest, and shoulders that can suggest tattooing from that time, or probably incisions with bamboo. So Japanese subculture, popular culture, kind of, uh, they do a lot of very interesting things, especially with the image on the right. It has a name. I'm sorry, I've forgotten it, but you can Google Dogu Jomon period, Google-eyed, figures with goggles. I'm not going to talk too much about this culture. Vladvia, again, it's a culture, not a settlement. So, Vladvia culture is basically all the way to another continent. This is from Ecuador. And again, you can see, the breasts, you can see the breasts, you can see, the reproductive parts that are pronounced. Um, so these figurines have also been found, many, 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 buried in sand in beaches, uh, which is very similar to Dogu. So Dogu, they found 15,000 to 18,000, and they're saying most of them are broken. It's the same in Vladvia culture, and it is the same in many sites in Harappa and Mohenjo-daro that you have many. So the last that I read by a researcher called Shari Clark, she's saying that they found 12,000 in one of these sites, I think Harappa, and they found 12,000 little figurines, and all of them are broken. And why they are broken, we can discuss. Okay, we come to Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. So now these are also called Mother Goddess figurines, excavated and recorded by John McKay. And if you look at the one on the left, it's considered very, very attractive. The description says no body mass, but skirt, girdle, necklace shown, her hairdo or headdress with large panniers. Panniers means baskets. So this is something which I found very interesting about figurines that are from the Indian subcontinent, India, Pakistan, all the way to Zoab Valley, is their hairdo. The hairdo is what sets the Indian mother goddesses or, female figurines apart from what is found rest of the world. And here, now this is where I would like to disagree with the title Mother Goddess. We can just simply call it a female figurine. The clothing is a short skirt. She has a necklace, and this is my take on it. Her breasts are visible, but very different from what we see in the Ice Age versions. So if you look at the Ice Age figurines, the body of the woman is distorted. The breasts are sagging. She's fat. There's a protruding stomach. But this particular figure for me is akin to a photograph by an admirer, the perfect body, unlike the figures we see before that absolutely negate the male gaze. This little figurine could have just well have been captured by a man or a woman in admiration. Let's come to the Maurya Shunga period. This is, and the Maurya period lasted from 322 to 185 BCE. And the Maurya in Mathura was a major center for production of Mauryan period goddess figurines. The figures that are created in terracotta are in red or reduction black, as is the case here. Here, too, the title given to these little small female figurines is that of Mother Goddess. They were made in vast quantities, and it is believed they were meant for personal devotion. And here, too, I would like to propose another title that these were not for worship, that these were female fashion dolls or good luck charms and not goddesses. The other interesting thing is that there is archaeological evidence that points to the prevalence of Buddhism in Mauryan Empire, and female deities like Durga, Kali, and Saraswati were worshipped, which means that the iconography, if we can identify Durga, Kali, and Saraswati goddesses, that the iconography used to identify these goddesses would be very different from this because they would follow set rules. So, and on closer inspection of these depictions, the way the legs are made, elaborate hairdos, flowing garments, flowers in their hair, these are again, I would say, fashionista from, another culture, capturing an actual person. So, what is considered Mauryan fashion. So, some of these images are taken by me at the Bihar Museum in Patna, the one on the right. This is some of my work. I've done a lot of work in illustrating and capturing female figurines from all over the world. And I am trying to, I'm still working with this idea, still exploring it. I did a film project with Indus Valley Pottery in 2020. This is the images, the reference images. Uh, and let me just read my end note. Maybe we can go to some of the first ones. It would help. Okay. Most female figurines found were by male archaeologists in the late 19th and early 20th century, and they were immediately given the title of fertility idol. But more recent interpretations, as women are also, have just joined this field, suggest that these figurines probably had much more nuanced and varied symbolism, perhaps representing just female figurines, matriarchs, or worshippers. Our studies suggest that these figurines do not represent sexual totems or are for male desire, but rather as a means for providing strength to motherhood even in the most adverse situations. Figurines are more than representations or reflections of something concrete or abstract, and more than vehicles created to communicate a message. They are objects with material lives. Understanding what they were and how they were engaged in ancient societies is only possible by understanding their archaeological and cultural contexts. Approaching the figurines as representations of the body of human experience provides a different perspective. In other words, we make objects and they in turn make us. So I guess we can have a conversation now. And if somebody wants, we can go back to a particular slide. So,
Yeah. Anybody has any questions, observations?
Hi, I have a question.
yes, I can do.
Hi, first of all, amazing presentation. It was extremely informative and I just enjoyed it thoroughly. I had
Thank
a
you.
question where when you do your research or when you're working on them particularly, do you also sort of go to any archival material or for sources or for information that you might help you sort of format your work, like your research or something like that?
Yes, so very interestingly, that the best images that exists for ceramics today are found in auction sites or museum sites. Okay, and you can verify that it is correct because if you look at the price of the artifact, it's a lot. So I found an Indus Valley pot that I thought I would try to buy. It's 50 lakhs and it's in London right now. So that is the visual. There is a lot of papers. You can find papers on JSTOR, you can find papers on academia.edu. So for the one, so for example, you may see the image figurine of Harappa Mohenjo-daro, but there's no one telling us that they are 10,000 or 20,000 and they're all broken. That is only in a paper. Okay. Now, in Stuart Piggott's book, he's talking about that grinning skull. I cannot find any representation of that. I happen to have that book, so I could see what he's talking about. But basically, the research is not happened overnight. It's years of collecting images, looking at it, collecting images, looking at it. So then your mind starts connecting the dots. And there are serious gaps in my understanding of the topic as well. And there are, of course, when I'm saying I believe, these are my assumptions based on what I've read.
Right. Thank you. Sorry, just like a second part to it. Given that I understand that it's an extensive research and it's not an overnight study, of course, you must be coming across a lot of similarities between cross-cultural references. So how do you like sort of adapt them and apply it to your work? Or what kind of elements would you sort of translate to what your research is about?
Oh, basically, the thing is, so I have started creating mother goddesses from different parts of the world, and they're very small. I am not trying to copy them exactly, though I feel that if I recreate them as is in terracotta, it'll from an image on the net or from a book, it'll help me understand more. But when we all work in our studios, we all have our styles, we have our favorite clays and glazes, and that also dictates what it looks like. We are not like we are not 7,000 years ago in an agricultural community. We are like now living in a hyper industrialized world. So I let myself wander. Like, it's okay, it need not look like that, but in my mind I know that, okay, I've made a woman, she's holding her breasts, but she doesn't look like something like a figurine from 7,000 years ago. It's some like, it's my own version. But because it's such a deep topic, it's very slow. Like, I think I made my first figurine maybe like 6 years ago, and then I didn't make it again, and then I made some more, and I showed it in a show in Delhi like last year. Then I made one more this year. So sometimes it's disconnected. It's not possible to work like in one go. I think it takes a lot of effort. It's not possible for us, right? Like, I mean, maybe I'll do it after 3 years when I understand it even better.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. It was lovely.
Yeah, thanks for asking questions. Anyone else? Or we can end it.
Hi, Shirley. Uh, you were saying something about the breakage of the works, breakage of the figurines.
Yes, so this is a very good question. Again, it's an assumption. So basically, what they're saying is that, okay, so first of all, they're called Venus figurines. Venus, I mentioned, is like god, goddess of love and romance in Greek mythology. And Venus is everything ice age. It's again, a male term. But a lot of women are saying, no, these were made by women for women. These were not made by communities. Therefore, the face is not there. And the first figurine, the Venus of Hallfels, which is found in Germany, it is so small that you wear it on your neck. There's no head. It's just a little loop that the woman would have worn. So what there's an assumption is that perhaps it was to ward off evil, or if you were not well. So basically, you transfer your energy there and you break it. It's a bit like uh, those horses that you find in Pushina. If you go to these tribal belts in India, Gujarat mein dekha hoga, the Pushina horses, and basically
Yeah.
these tribals, what they do, they get a horse made by the potter, and they put it in the grove, and they basically us pe ek mannat hoti hai. It's usually to get well or an ailment, and that just weathers in the it just weathers there and they break. So I was thinking if it is something to do with that, that you pray and you break it. So basically, they are, a way of transferring your energy to that doll and saying that, you take my element and I'm breaking you, like, you know, back to the earth or universe. It's just a
Oh,
hypothesis.
yeah, it's possible. Yeah. Thank you for lovely presentation.
Yeah.
2 p.m. Just wanted to ask one question. And then hello?
Hello, yes. Can you speak
Ah,
a little louder?
Yeah, I just
just a minute. Shirley, can you stop sharing your screen because it's just showing 2 times? Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a nice question. I mean, why mother goddesses? I mean, why aren't they just said to be women or some human or any other, I mean, just a human being or just a woman? I mean, why were they called as mother goddesses?
Because the earliest figure, if you look at Venus of Dolny or Venus of Hallfels, or if you look at the one which is in ivory, it is unmistakable figure of a pregnant woman. So it's mother. And we do not have so many male figurines. We have female figurines found in cultures across the world. Male figurines do exist, but not at the scale at which female figurines exist. So if you think about Ice Age, when human beings were living in very cold climate and traveling from, they were having a semi-nomadic life or whatever. So childbirth must have been so difficult, right? Childbirth was essential for the survival of the tribe. So also very interesting uh, point is that if you look at all the Ice Age figurines, including Venus of Dolny, the figure of the woman is distorted. right? Like very fat. And if you look at the female figurines, once agriculture starts, it's not distorted. It's quite like, whatever. So basically, agriculture versus ice age. So in ice age, probably there's shortage of food, other problems. In agriculture, you don't have problem with food, so the figure stops being so distorted.
Got it. Actually, I have a lot of questions on these, but then I think we'll have one-to-one. Uh,
You can ask, I guess, another one. I do not know what the time limit is.
Where we also get to know what is the different thought process.
no, I mean a little bit scientific and all those.
Right, sure.
So, like a lot of figures we find in terracotta,
Hmm.
and also like, so has there been any? I mean, I would like to know in general, like how have those plays also differ? I mean, they have differed from region to region, or like what was found in Indus, when it was found in Harappa, when it was found in some African region somewhere else, and so how different are those? And like also you mentioned about the worshipping and then the broken paths. So are they found all over? I mean, the purpose of those figurines were for that, or was it for also for other purposes? I mean, just for creative sense, or something really purposeful? Like,
See, all the archaeology actually started in 1900s. Okay. Venus of Hallfels is much more recent. She's been found, the oldest figurine made of mammoth ivory is 2008. Okay, but we know Indus Valley is pre-independence.
mm,
So basically, who's digging? It's Europeans who are digging, right? Because they've taken over all the world. So they are, and who's leading these teams? It's the men who are leading these teams, and it's very important. Same for John Mackay and same for John Marshall. When they find this, they want to connect it to the current situation. So, therefore, goddess. And come on, in India, like in no other culture do we have the variety of goddesses that we have in our country, right?
mm,
So, immediately they want to label them.
mm,
Uh, and so they're called goddess regardless. They were called goddess regardless,
mm,
and they were called for worshipping or ritualistic purpose. But what has happened recently is that as more and more women are looking at it, they are saying they may not be goddesses. They
mm,
could have been goddesses, they could be for worship, but maybe it is actually related to childbirth. And also, it is so interesting. It's like, how I was thinking just recently that who would have decided that, this is the day we will celebrate Diwali, or this is the day we'll celebrate Holi, and the entire country celebrates, or this is
mm,
the day we'll celebrate Christmas and the entire world celebrates. It's the same with this little human figurine. Who
mm,
decides it's a charm? And then it's found all over the world? Is it that human beings are nomadic and traveling?
yeah,
For
right.
me, the Hittite is a crazy one because I've not found that similarity and nobody's talking about it in any paper that I've seen. But
Mm-hmm.
as I look at these images, I'm saying it's the same. It's the same. They're just minor variations and they're 2000 years apart. How does that
Mm-hmm.
happen? So, yes, the clay would be different, of course, because clay is specific to region, but it's all terracotta and it's all low fire. Venus of Dolny is fire to 500 degrees Celsius. Something so low fire has survived
Mm-hmm.
30,000 years.
True. Yeah. Thank you, Shiv.
Hello. Uh, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Uh, if I understand this correctly, the
Right.
you have mentioned that the number of figurines which have been discovered is actually very large.
Yes.
Okay. So how does one see that as a connected to a ritual or a magic ritual or a good luck charm, maybe given to pregnant women, as a very routine thing rather than a very specific, purpose
It
of
could have been
worship.
routine. Yes, it could have been
Because
routine. You're right.
it's coming in such large numbers.
It's not that large also.
Okay.
Because if you find, they're saying 15,000 figurines all over Japan, different periods. Jomon period
Yeah.
is very, very like from Ice Age to agriculture.
Yeah.
Same for Indus Valley, 7,000 to whatever,
Yeah,
3,000
but
BC.
they are
So
definitely
it is,
more than the number of Indus Valley seals.
could be. So see, that's what I'm saying. There are significant gaps in my knowledge as well because I'm totally the image, the information is all fragmented. It's what I put together.
Ah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
cannot answer everything. A lot of it is assumption. I may also be wrong. If an actual, if an archaeologist speaks, they may actually correct me. So I'm actually talking from somebody who actually works with clay and what I read. So I've not found this number that there are 10,000 female figurines in any other paper except a paper by Shari Clark, who is a researcher from Harvard, who's done the research in Pakistan. I've not found this anywhere else. And it's only
Okay.
one sentence. And I've not even found images of, like 10,000, 10, look, 10,000 little figurines like laid out in a row. I've not seen it. No, I'm just going by that one sentence she writes.
Okay. Okay. But it gave the impression that it comes in very large numbers.
They're very small. They're that small.
Yeah.
So in this valley, I don't know, but most of the Doku figurines, and again, I do not know
Hmm.
which one because there are many styles. They're saying they're found near the kitchen, where the hearth is, where they cook their food.
Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Anyway, very interesting talk. Thanks for it.
Any more questions? Okay.
Sorry, if there's time, can I just ask one more?
Yes, sure, Kinjal.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little random, but would you ever want to like collaborate with archaeologists to sort of dig a little deeper, just to sort of fill in the gaps that you're talking about, like just
Yes, of course. I want to go to Pakistan. I want to go to Mehergarh. I want to go to, Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, Tabarkot. There are so many of these sites.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, because of our partition, we don't have access to that information.
right.
We really don't.
Yeah,
And, like Zob Valley or Nal culture, Amri culture, like in my film, people said it's not even Indus Valley, and I do not know how to defend myself till I found the book by Stuart Pickard, who for him it's the same. And when I look at the images, it's like you can call it whatever, what you see is what you see. The figurines look to me the same.
yeah,
And they have found what you call a proto Shiva, proto Parvati along Zob River today, like carvings on rocks. It's really endless. Like Hinduism has not started, but there are already signs of it. And I would like to, but there is too much information and one knows too little. I'm just
yeah.
scratching the surface.
Yeah, because I mean, I understand like practicing with clay is one thing, but then it is just the seed of curiosity that leads you to just wanting to know more. And I
Yes,
mean, it's such a deep well, but I mean, it's just nice to know that like the same curiosity. I mean, it's so relevant, the passion or just to know more. So yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you that you
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
yeah.
So somebody's asked, it's prehistoric India. I don't even know if it's in print. A friend just gave the book to me. Uh, it's supposed to be a very good. Stuart Piggott actually wrote extensively, especially on pottery and what was found in terracotta. So this is a good book to have for sure. Or maybe you can download it on Google Books or something. So yeah, so we can end it if there are no more questions.
No, thank you. Thank you so much, Shirley.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Shirley.